Yeah, I was doubting if I should be repicking this podcast concept I did called Bedtime Stories from yeah, a long time ago when the Corona started, or if I should continue making some videos once in a while where I kind of analyze what is happening from my point of view as an artist here in Amsterdam. And I think I will stick to the videos because what makes it very nice is that I can add images, in the front, like a toom toom, and then it's more clear. I think it's nicer like that. I will try to keep them around 10 minutes whenever I make them. When I want to share something about the Corona or society in general, maybe I will just continue doing that with other issues I want to give my opinion about also. Let's see in the future. Today I'm gonna be speaking about the problem of duality. And yeah, I always, all the problems I see or the things I see around me that I wanna address, I always use metaphors from fantasy or science fiction, things that I like, movies, books, music maybe. So that's kind of the images you're gonna be seeing. And okay, the problem with duality. We are now like 2.5 months into this Corona crisis in the Netherlands, at least. Some countries are just arriving to the peak moment. We already passed that. The curve is quite flat here in the Netherlands, so it's a nice time to analyze what happened, how did we react, what did we learn, etc. And what I think is something I've seen a lot is the duality. So let's talk about that. Enough introduction. Duality, yeah. I seen a video of an artist in New York who was speaking about that now, that at the beginning it was economy versus lives, and that now it's more about lives versus lives. So that the presidents or the governors or whatever should like look at the situation and choose where you can save more lives at this moment. And there were at the beginning it was a lot like, yeah, do you need to save lives or do you need to save the economy? This duality, you need to choose something. And I want to kind of like use this duality, this choice you have to make in between A or B or blue and red, from the movie The Matrix, where Neo has to choose the pill, and it's also a question of duality, like the red pill means this, and the blue pill means this, and it's the same, economy versus life, life versus life, left versus right, or people versus the government, or humans versus machines, or the truth versus fake, conspiracy versus ignorance, like the conspiracy, they believe they're seeing the truth, and people that follow the government are more ignorant or are manipulated, etc. I can go on forever, but it's about number two, the duality. How do you choose in that? And what we can say, I think maybe at some point, is like, it's good versus bad, or it's bad versus good. It really depends from which kind of direction you look at it. But how do you deal with this duality, with this choice? Like, what is our way? What's my opinion on how we should deal with it? Because in this video I saw of this artist, he was already saying like, yeah, we have to choose where less people die, etc. I have a different opinion about it. Duality, red versus blue, right? I believe it's not about choosing red or blue. It's about mixing red and blue. And I'll explain you why. Because when you mix red and blue, you get a new color. And that new color is purple. And so what we do there is like, from a duality, we create a third entity. And that third entity then makes the whole thing a trinity, right? So it's blue, red, blue, whatever. And then you arrive to purple when you mix those two. And that, it's very, very, very important. The number 3 is the key solution to a crisis like the COVID-19 crisis. Um, Let me see. Well, let's start with the number three. Trinity is a very important number in a lot of religions, in Taoism, in Christianity, but also it's a super important number in geometry. It's a very important number in mythologies. It's a very important number in art. For example, in art is when you have a drieluik in Dutch, it's called a triptych. I don't know exactly how you pronounce it, but then you have three works, and then it's always balanced, and that is the key to it, balance. And let me explain why I reacted the way I did to the crisis, and why some other people react in different ways. It's because when the COVID-19 appeared, I saw a lot of red happening, a lot. Doesn't matter what red means, doesn't matter for now. Let's just keep it like, okay. So one of the colors went really high, and I went into the extreme other side. Like let's say the red is the neoliberal approach, and I missed a lot there. The more anarchistic way of thinking. Everybody thinks individually for themselves, and like that you become solidaire with the people around you, and that expands, etc., etc. So I saw all this neoliberal, this capitalism, this government, blah, blah, blah. At the same time, I saw a lot of manipulation of media, etc., etc. So I went really into the extreme blue, which is like anarchy, like the opposite. And what I try to do with that is that try to balance these colors, because when they balance, you can make the mixture, and when you make the mixture, you have the third entity appear. I hope it's still clear how far I'm going now, but maybe I can explain you a little bit more based on the examples. For example, in the Matrix, Neo has to choose the blue or the red pill, but that's not what at the end kind of like saves him or makes him the chosen one. Is not the fact that they choose red or blue pill, but it's Trinity, and the character of Trinity is even called Trinity, and she's the one that guides Neo to his salvation in a way. She's also the one that in a way commands him to wake up when he dies in the first movie. That is it's a beautiful parallel in between the Trinity, the Neo as fighting as the fight in between good and bad, in Neo, and then you have Trinity that, etc., etc. In Tolkien, we also see it, and in Tolkien we see it as in the most clear. We see it in the three characters that are the ones that eventually destroy the ring. So that's Frodo, Sam, and Gollum. Three like this. They need each other. All three of them. They need each other to be able to destroy the ring. And one could say that Sam is like the good character, and Gollum is the bad character, like the good and the bad. And then they mix in Frodo because Sam represents the good of Frodo, and Gollum represents the bad of Frodo. And Frodo realizes he needs them both. He needs this connection, this purple, to be able to go all the way to Doomsberg and Mount Doom. Sorry, I said it in Dutch now. To Mount Doom and be able to destroy the ring. As I said 2 months ago, I see COVID-19 as the ring. So we can put many things as the ring, but let's take COVID-19 as an example. The key is now to not get lost in this duality, but to make the duality come together and create this third entity. So to give an answer of the problem of duality is that you don't have to choose economy versus life versus life, left versus right, people versus government. It's not about choosing one of the things, it's about balancing them. So when they are balanced, you can mix them, and then you get the third one, and that is your choice. So You shouldn't be red or blue. It should be purple that you want to have. To put it back to the Matrix movie, Neo should have taken both pills to have the third pill in his mouth, you know? That's how we can deal with crisis situations like this. So I went extreme anarchist, you know, like revolution thinking, you know, like we have to change everything. And now I'm going more towards the purple, or I want to go there. And I hope people that went to the other direction have the same way of thinking as me, so we can meet at some point and start to work in this purple area. One last example I want to give is about countries that, in my opinion, did it the purple way. And those are countries like New Zealand and Denmark and maybe Sweden in the future. I don't know. Sweden is quite radical, still very progressive, but maybe in the long term that's the best. I don't know. We're gonna see that. But New Zealand and Denmark, and also in Taiwan, you see it a little bit, was that it was a very short lockdown. And once the whole population was aware of the problem of COVID-19, then they reopened the economy and everything like that. So it was about like giving the message like, hey guys, we have to do this together. You know, purple, going to the purple already. Like the leader of New Zealand, the president of New Zealand, she did an amazing job into going straight into the purple. They had very clear press conferences. They were communicating super transparent to the whole population what was happening, how they're gonna deal with it, what the trajectory is gonna be. So it was super clear for everybody, like, hey, yo, we gotta do this together. And they managed to eradicate the virus very good. And now they are opening the economy. And of course, they also made mistakes, but what they did was like unite the population. And what you see, in, for example, in Brazil and USA, that's the opposite. You know, like you have the extreme extremes. You know, red and blue, they go apart, and the purple is like almost impossible to see in these countries. So yeah, I think we have to learn a lot from the New Zealand approach, and as governments, as countries, but also as people. Yeah, I also went into extreme because I wanted to balance it, and now even me that was extreme or that went really into an extreme, I'm looking forward to the purple. So I hope all together we can again join in a dialogue and yeah, try to see how we can make this crisis for the better. What you also see in New Zealand is that they didn't choose economy or lives. They choose short lockdown to protect the people from the virus, and they keep an eye on people with mental health issues, people that maybe lost their jobs. Like how can we help those also, you know? Yeah, now I'm gonna sound a little bit like this conspiracy videos.
But it was no coincidence that The Lord of the Rings was filmed in New Zealand. I'm telling you, there is something magical in that country. And yeah, they are being led by what I call Eowyn, you know, female president that is, yeah, was able to deal with this crisis in a very strong and powerful way, and we have to learn from it.
Yeah, I think that was my video about duality. I hope you could follow it a little bit. I don't practice these things. I just always do it in one take. So it's just my opinion. And like, I also, maybe tomorrow I think differently, you know, everything changes. I just wanted to share it. If you have something to say, drop it in the comments. We can talk about it. I will be making art, new projects the coming times. Very exciting times ahead. We're gonna try to build a new economy, a new way of living, and yeah, these videos are gonna be part of it. So thanks for listening, and stay cool. Later.